What's going on, good people? It's Will, and I wanted to go over the reason why right-handed shooters tend to hit the left side of their target, or left-handed shooters tend to hit the right side of the target. There's normally two main reasons. We're eliminating cross-eye dominance and not realizing that you are. For example, if you're right-eye dominant and you're left-handed, or you're left-eye dominant and right-handed, and you don't realize that's going on, that can affect your sight alignment some. But we're talking about people that are actually figured out that they're cross-eye dominant, or they're right-handed, right eye, left-handed, left eye. So the first thing is usually the trigger press. What happens is when someone goes to press the trigger, instead of depressing it straight back, what they're doing is they're pushing the gun to the left a little bit, all right? That can be caused by a couple of things. Just one, like I said, just not pulling it straight back. Or two, maybe your trigger finger placement is in a place where it's difficult for you to manipulate that trigger straight back. So instead, you're kind of pushing the muzzle. All right, but that's usually the number one thing that's going to cause that. The second thing is lack of support hand pressure. So even if I try to push the gun left, if I have enough force on the left side of the gun, I can mitigate or even eliminate that and not have to worry about the gun moving left, which will affect where your shots land. So as you can see, I grip my pistol. What I see a lot of people do, especially new shooters, is they'll have this thumb down too early. And what it does is it doesn't allow me to get my hands. You see a lot of people with their palm right on top of the other thumb, which isn't the best way to control a pistol. The other thing that'll happen is maybe they're not here, but then they'll have their hand underneath, but now they're too low. So what'll happen is when you grab your pistol, you want to flag that thumb high and with support, or the strong hand rather. And then all the space in here, you want to try to fill that in with as much meat as possible. So cant that wrist, you want to lock your wrist, and then get that palm up there as high as you can. Your other thumb will just ride on top, all right? So that's going to allow you to get a lot more control in the gun. And what you want to do is smash. You want to really crush the gun. So you're pinching it from left to right, right to left, like if it's the gun, or like if the gun was in a vise. So I'm here and I'm squeezing. So I'm squeezing my hand into the gun, or my fingertips, and I'm also squeezing my palm into it. On this side, I actually have my index finger touching the frame of the gun. I don't know if you can see that or not. But my index finger is on the frame, and then the rest of my fingers are riding just on my hand. And again, I'm just squeezing that gun, maximum pressure, not to the point where you're shaking, but as hard as you can without shaking. All right, so a lot of pressure is on that left side of the gun. So that's going to, even if you do push a little bit, it's going to prevent that or even mitigate it if you're really gripping firmly enough. So those are the two biggest things. As far as shooting low, it's back to your trigger again. There's nothing wrong with slapping the trigger. I know a lot of people say don't slap the trigger. You can slap the trigger all you want as long as you slap it straight back. Usually your first shot, when you go to present and you want to shoot quickly, you're going to slap the trigger. You're not going to go out, press, come up to the wall, stop, and then roll back. It's not going to happen. You don't have enough time to do that. If you look at a lot of the fastest shooters in the world, they're actually slapping the trigger. Their trigger finger's coming all the way off the trigger, and they're slapping the hell out of it. But it doesn't matter because they've learned to slap it, but they're doing it straight back, all right? The other thing that makes you go low is anticipation, or what some people call pre-ignition push. And it's not always that you're afraid of the gun going bang. There is an explosion happening, inches from your face. But what it is you're firing, and you know the gun is going to recoil. So you know your sights are going to lift, the muzzle's going to lift. So what you're trying to do is get ahead of that and push back down. So if the sights are lifting, you want to push them back down, right? So if for some reason you go to fire the gun and then you mistime that and you actually push the sights down right before the gun goes off, you're going to get those low hits. And you might not even feel that you're doing it. It could just be a split second, but you'll see on your target that your shots are going low. Now, fixing that can be a challenge. The biggest thing is just getting rounds down range. What can help for some people is the beginning of your training session. This is live fire. And if your range allows, just take one magazine and just do a mag dump. So get up on target and just squeeze as fast as you can. Get those rounds out to get your body kind of accustomed to hearing that explosion and the gun recoiling right in front of your face. That helps for some. Other people go with the old dummy trick where you put some dummy rounds in your magazine or have your training partner loading them so you don't know when you're going to come for that dummy round. So you'll anticipate. And you'll see people sometimes move their whole body, sometimes their wrists. I know I have that issue here and there, but really shooting really helps that. Just getting your body accustomed to that explosion being close to your face. It's really not a natural thing to stand there when something, something's going to explode, but the more you shoot, the less likely you are to have that issue. But either way, let me know if you have any questions. Those are the major things that cause low and left, especially left being grip and trigger pressure. So let me know what you think. And next time you're out for the range, really grip down on that left hand and then make sure we're pressing that trigger straight back towards our dominant eye and see what that yields on your target. All right, let me know if you have any questions.